Here is a 1989 Encon Crusader ceiling fan. I got this fan for about $17 at the Habitat for Humanity Restore. I got this at the same time as I got this Evergo from. And this fan right here was originally priced $34, but they dropped it down to $17 because they were having a Black Friday sale. And this fan right here is actually still even sold today. I mean, it doesn't still sell with stencil blades. As you can see, these blades are stencil. But the Encon Crusader actually is still sold today under the Westinghouse brand. But even though this model has probably been around for since probably the mid-'80s, it really has not really changed that much at all over the years. I don't know if they still sell it in antique brass anymore, but I think they still sell it in polished brass and brushed nickel. I don't know if they sell it in white and polished brass anymore. That's kind of an outdated finish now, which is kind of sad, but this really is, I know this is a cheaper fan, but it doesn't perform all that bad. And for those of you who are going to ask, oh, you should really rip this out of the ceiling and throw it out the window and do a destruction video on it. I'm not going to do that dumb nonsense. Because the purpose of a fan is to move air and make you feel more comfortable. This moves air and makes you feel more comfortable. And I know some people are also going to say, oh, you should really install a Casablanca ceiling fan or something like that. Now, this is not going to perform like a Casablanca, but it also doesn't aspire to. And here's another thing. The Casablanca fans were like hundreds of dollars. This was probably less than $20. Of course, back then money, in today's money would probably be, actually I've seen these fans being sold of today. They would cost a little over $100, which I think is super pricey for something like this. Because this is not the best well-made fan of all. These have stencil blades, but the metal on this fan, I don't know if it's real brass even, but it seems kind of flimsy, and this fan is definitely not as heavy as this one is. This one actually is pretty light to hang up. And also another thing, I bought a whole new swag kit because I saved so much money. I actually went to Menards and bought a whole new swag kit for it to match the exact finish of the fan. The other swag kit I had in here before had a black chain and a white cord and polished brass hooks, which does not complement this fan at all. The other fan I had in here, yeah, it complemented it pretty good, but not this fan. Another thing is I even installed the inline switch to it, because since it was there, why not add it? It helped me save on a clunky adapter. So let's turn the light on. I'm using 360 watt equivalent CFL light bulbs. And this light's not the original light, of course. This is actually just added on. This light's 3 years older than the fan is. Here's low. And it also has the original pull chain fob right here, the original Encon pull chain fob. And this was actually brand new in the box, if I didn't mention it already. And just for clear and convincing evidence, here's the box right here. Now, something I did notice is that on the box, the fan has squared off blades. If you were paying attention to the video, these were actually pointed tips of the blades. But they were right about the stencil being on there. And this was also flush mountable, but I did not do that, of course. If this was installed where the Evergo is, I don't think I would have done it, but I may have flush mounted in that case because I'm going to be walking under it. It's got to be reasonably high off the ground, but being this is over a bed, it can have a down rod. It could probably have a down rod that is 4 times the length of it, and I would still be fine. And this is low and pushes a little bit of air, which is good. I like a slow low, and this has it. It has a nice slow low. The air is not too intense. Medium. And the pull chain switch is nice and smooth, and it's easier to pull than what the Evergo was. And it's also not outrageously loud either. And I know this doesn't push out the greatest amount of air, but this is also a smaller fan, so you gotta expect a little less performance of it. And now high. I think this has a good variance in the speed. You know, the low is nice and calm, but the high is pretty fast. And I don't think there's much bearing noise in this fan either. If there is, it's a very tiny amount. Certainly not worth changing the bearings in this thing, especially because they're the original and they're not all that bad. I tend to want to keep it original because that's the way I got it. If they were ladder than a pain of a racket, I would absolutely replace them. Or if they were completely seized up, those kind of cases. But since I would deem them perfectly good, I would say they would probably last another 35 years. If you guys are curious about the month of this fan, this was made in February of 1989. And has pretty reasonable clock to it. Might be a little out of whack, but I would deem it acceptable. And one problem I have found with this fan is that the reverse switch of it doesn't make a loud click of it either. So I might replace the reverse switch in it. Because I'm sure the average person using this fan would probably deem this fan trash. And I'm not talking about trash like doesn't move a whole lot of air or makes a lot of noise. I'm talking about as the thing doesn't work. So in the future, if somebody does ever want to hang it and they saw that and just so the motor doesn't burn out, I might replace this reverse switch in this because this is in immaculate condition as expected with something that is brand new in the box. Much like the Evergo, I'm going to have to get some new lampshades for it because this light did not come with shades. And off. And this is my third Encon Crusader I have. So the first Encon Crusader I got it just shy of 3 years ago. It came out of a friend's house and it only had 2 blades and 3 brackets. And unfortunately, the motor died before I even got around to testing the fan with only 2 blades. And the second Encon Crusader, or is now Westinghouse Crusader, is a brushed nickel one from like 2020, 21, or 22, somewhere in that range. And I hung it up in my dad's shop. And this is the third instance right here. Stencil blades and antique brass finish. I'd say this is it's either deluxe or supreme. I don't know how that system goes, but if anyone knows more about these Encon ceiling fans, please let me know because I really don't know much about these Encon ceiling fans. And I normally don't show spin down time, but since actually it's about to be done now. Yep, it is done. And also, in case you guys are wondering what's in the box, this is the front of the box. Made in Taiwan, copyright 1987. Here's one of the other sides of the box. And here's a $34 sticker on it. It says new right here. This was actually sealed when I got it. And here's another side of the box. And here is some other stuff on it, which is upside down, of course. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video of my new Encon Crusader ceiling fan. Or technically 35-year-old Encon Crusader ceiling fan. Thank you. Have a nice day.